There's a certain type of tantra meditation where you use your imagination. You use your imagination to speeden up the process of your meditation. Use your imagination. It's called, to explain it in a sentence, bringing the future result into the path. Bringing the future result into the path. So what does that mean? Well, we can understand this from perhaps the point of view of sport. I don't know if anyone's seen the film King Richard. Saw it the other day. It's Serena and Venus Williams' father. He was their coach, famous tennis coach. He was their coach, and the film is based around him and how he brought up the Williams sisters, his daughters, But there's a scene in that where Serena Williams is standing in an empty auditorium. So her sister has just played a game, and one of her first tournament matches, she lost the match, to a higher seed, and her younger sister Serena, who at that time isn't really playing competitively, she's just training. She's just standing in this auditorium, tennis, empty stadium, and just looking. And then her father, Richard, comes over to her and says to her, in the future, one day you will be not only the top number one seed, but you'll be the greatest of all time. And they just share this beautiful moment, standing there, in a sense, imagining. It's all great, successful sports people know this. Imagination. So she did that 14 years, when she was 13 or 14. And then fast forward to today, Serena Williams is seen as the greatest tennis player of all time. How did that come about? She brought the future result into the path, imagination. So this process of imagination, I was taught in the meditation scriptures, thousands and thousands of years ago, to speed up the process of meditation, to help us change our identity instead of identity. So we're sitting here now, and you could be sitting here thinking, oh, this is difficult, I can't meditate, I have a pain in my knee, when's this going to end? And all the rest, this usual dialogue of meditation can seem hard work, and it can seem we're here, and perhaps the person we want to be as a consequence of meditation is somewhere over there. And if we put enough effort and study and train and so forth, that experience will come about. And, we can kind of strive and get quite tight in our meditation to try to bring about this achievement experience. But this method of imagination, bringing the future result into the path, which we can see sports people do, business people do to some degree as well. Architects do, everyone does. We do it all the time. Like we're here now, aren't we, on a Nature Mindspace Retreat. At one point, you imagined that you were going to come to this. You know, maybe saw some information, you saw a picture of trees, a bit like this. Yeah, you thought, yeah, that's got my name on it. So you were sitting somewhere and you imagined this Nature Mindspace Retreat. Yeah. And as a consequence of doing that, you find yourself here. But this is still your imagination. We're always imagining things and bringing things into existence. So this process, people, you like, just something mundane like buying a house or renting a room in a home. We first of all imagine. We go and look at it. We imagine ourselves there. And then the next thing you know, we're there. Or a car. Yeah? You imagine the car. You look at it. You go and see it. You imagine yourself driving it. And the next thing you know, the car appears. So we know how to use our imagination. But just imagining houses, cars and so forth, it's mundane, worldly, and just leads to worldly results, which generally is more stress, as you rightly said. You know, you don't have a car, you have one problem. You don't have a car. You get a car, you potentially have many, many problems, which you never had before you had the car. So getting the car solves the problem of not having a car, but then acquiring the car, you then have a new set of problems you didn't have when you didn't have a car. And this is the same for anything, houses, relationships, moving country, whatever. But we know how to use our imagination for everyday activity. So Tantra, this form of tantric meditation, is where we imagine. So for example, if you train in meditation, and you keep training in meditation, eventually you'll experience liberation, where you don't have any suffering or negativity in your mind anymore. You don't have any stress, you don't have any anxiety, it's all disappeared. You don't have this strong ego, sense of I, disappeared. So if we can imagine that experience right now, so like as we're meditating, we imagine. So rather than thinking, right, I'm going to try to be peaceful and sort of waiting for something to happen, we just imagine that it's already happened. Yeah. I think example, what would it be like if I was in a state of deep peace right now? I had no stress or anxiety. So if you can imagine that, then you bring it about. You tap into that experience. And of course, if you can't imagine it, then you can't tap into that experience and it can't come about. For example, if you can't imagine yourself owning a car, then you'll never own one. Everything starts in our imagination. So this is known as the quick path. Yeah, so of course, everyone wants to, we always want to, if you could choose between the slow or the quick version, we want experiences quickly. So if you want experience in meditation to come about swifter, if you want it to be more enjoyable, start imagining yourself experiencing deep peace. Like, what would it be like to experience deep peace? Let's say I was sitting in a wood somewhere. Oh, I am. and I didn't have my laptop, and I didn't have all my everyday, and I was just sitting there. You know, Buddha, when he attained enlightenment, was sitting in a wood, to some degree, under a tree. You know, what was that like? What was going on in his mind? What would that be like to attain liberation right now? To not, you know, like when you're meditating, usually we have all these worries and this like voice in the background talking. What would it be like to have a completely quiet mind? And when you start imagining it, the next thing you know, oh, it's suddenly gone all quiet. How did that happen? Well, I imagined it, and it came about. So that's my little talk about imagination.